The FBI's 10 Most Wanted Explained 2024. In this video we delve into the dark world of the FBI's most elusive fugitives. They are the ghosts of society. Names whispered in fear, faces seen but never caught. The FBI's 10 Most Wanted list is not just a registry of criminals, it's a catalog of nightmares. Murderers, traffickers, and fugitives who have evaded justice for years. Watching, waiting, hiding in the shadows. Some could be closer than you think. Others may never be found. Tonight we count down the 10 most dangerous fugitives still at large in 2024. And by the time we reach number 1, you might want to double-check your locks. Trust is a fragile thing. You never expect the person closest to you to be the one holding the knife. But for Truquansandi Lile, her worst nightmare came in the form of a friend. Alejandro Castillo, someone she laughed with, shared secrets with, led her into the darkness, promised her safety, and then he ended her. When her body was found days later abandoned like trash, the betrayal was unthinkable. Castillo, gone. He fled to Mexico, slipping through authorities' fingers like smoke. Sightings come and go, a passing face in a crowd, a blurred figure on security footage. But he is still free. And the only question that remains is, who will he betray next? There are men who kill for money. Then there are men who kill because they can. Wilver Villegas Palomino sits at the top of a cartel empire, a kingdom built on cocaine, bullets, and blood. He doesn't pull the trigger himself, he doesn't have to. His word alone is a death sentence. He operates from the shadows, an invisible hand guiding chaos. The FBI wants him. But in his world, justice is just another business deal, and bodies are the currency. To capture him, they'd have to dismantle an empire, and he knows that won't happen. Some monsters don't need bloodshed to destroy lives. Ruja Ignatova's weapon wasn't a gun or a knife, it was a promise. She convinced thousands that one coin would make them rich beyond their dreams. Instead, it left them ruined. And then, she was gone. One moment she was boarding a plane. The next, nothing, no trail, no evidence. As if she was never there at all. Some say she got plastic surgery, others believe she's dead. But a woman this smart, this powerful, she's still out there. And she's still watching. We've crossed into darker territory now. These names don't just bring death, they bring suffering, pain that lingers. Stories whispered in fear. If these fugitives have a common trait, it's this: they don't stop. They won't stop until they are caught, or worse, until they fade into the world around us forever unseen. April 2015, a young woman alone in the back of a donut shop. The man she loved walks in. Minutes later, he walks out, alone. But something was left behind. Something horrifying. Authorities say the attack was unimaginable. A brutal, frenzied act of violence. Blood splattered on the walls. A life taken in an instant. And Patel? He didn't panic. He didn't rush. He just walked away. He's been running ever since. He could be in another country. He could be changing his identity. But one thing is certain, he has never stopped looking over his shoulder. They call him El Gato, the cat. But make no mistake, he is no predator, he is a butcher, a hitman for the Gulf Cartel, a man whose orders are final, absolute, and deadly. He doesn't hesitate, he doesn't feel remorse, he simply pulls the trigger. The FBI is closing in. But will they catch him before he kills again, or will he disappear, slipping into the underworld like a phantom? A predator in plain sight. Michael Pratt didn't need to chase his victims. They came to him, desperate for a future he fabricated. He took their trust and twisted it into a nightmare. And when the authorities closed in, he disappeared, leaving his victims with nothing but trauma. In the world of Michael James Pratt, dreams were bargaining chips. Promises of fame and fortune dangled before hopeful young women, desperate for a break, for a future. But the door they walked through was one way. Once inside, the illusion shattered, leaving them exposed, vulnerable, and forever haunted by what they were forced to endure. They came looking for opportunity. What they found was a nightmare, coerced into acts they never consented to, trapped in contracts they didn't understand. The videos went online, and with them, their lives imploded. Families disowned them, friends vanished. The shame and fear consumed them. And Pratt, he profited. Millions made on the broken spirits of those he manipulated. When the walls closed in, when justice reached out its hand, he disappeared. Vanished, without a trace, leaving nothing but shattered lives and unanswered questions. You've made it this far, but these next 4 names, they are the worst of the worst. Men who don't just kill, they destroy. Innocents, families, lives, vanished in an instant, and the most terrifying part, they're still out there, breathing the same air as you, watching, waiting. A wedding is supposed to be the start of forever, but for Estrella Carrera, it was the end. The morning after she exchanged vows with Arnoldo Jimenez, she was supposed to wake up next to her husband. Instead, she was already dead, her body crammed into the back seat of a car, her once white dress soaked in blood, a brutal beating, a slow death. And Jimenez? He drove away, never looking back. Some say he fled to Mexico, others believe he changed his identity, walking the streets like any other man. But one thing is certain, if he could kill the woman he vowed to love, he could kill again. A warm summer afternoon, a park filled with families, laughter, the sound of children playing, but then came the gunfire. Octaviano Juarez Coro walked into that peaceful scene and turned it into a nightmare, shooting indiscriminately, silencing laughter, spilling blood on the grass. He killed his own wife, injured others, then he disappeared into the void, leaving behind nothing but horror. Authorities searched, but he was gone, like a shadow melting into the dark. If he's willing to slaughter those closest to him, imagine what he'd do to a stranger. Some killers wear masks of normalcy. They blend in, they say hello to their neighbors, they walk past playgrounds and grocery stores unnoticed. Alexis Flores was one of them. A drifter, a handyman, the kind of man you'd never look twice at. But behind that friendly face it was something monstrous, a 5-year-old girl, innocent, trusting, taken from her home. What happened next is too horrific to describe in full. But know this, when authorities found her body, they knew they weren't dealing with a man, they were dealing with something inhuman. He is still out there, breathing the same air as you. Maybe he changed his face. Maybe he's watching another child right now. The only question is, how long until he strikes again? At number 1, a legend of crime. Rafael Caro-Quintero, the man who defies capture. The man who walked free after orchestrating some of the most heinous crimes in cartel history. He didn't just kill, he made an example out of his victims. Enrique Kiki Camarena was a DEA agent who got too close. Caro-Quintero didn't just want him dead, he wanted him to suffer. He was beaten, tortured for hours, his ribs shattered, his skull fractured. His killers took their time, making sure he felt every second of his own slow, agonizing death. Authorities captured Caro-Quintero once, but somehow he walked free. And now, he's a ghost, moving in the shadows, ruling an empire that reaches across the globe. The FBI wants him, the world wants him, but does he even fear capture anymore? Or does he laugh at those who chase shadows? They could be anywhere. Your neighbor, the stranger in line behind you, the man who just passed you on the street. These fugitives don't just exist in stories, they exist in the world around you. They may even be watching this, right now. If you enjoyed this dark journey, like, subscribe and turn on notifications. But most importantly, stay safe. Because in a world like ours, danger is never far away.